Hello, everyone. I'm Anna.
And I'm Kevin.
We are PhD students at the University of Washington. Today, we're excited to share with you our work on understanding users' needs for counterfactual explanations in everyday recommendations. This work was advised by Chirag, Shah. Nowadays, most online service platforms have adopted automated recommender systems to suggest personalized content based on people's activities and latent interests. However, in recommender systems, we rarely see counterfactual explanations, which are the answers to why not questions. Based on the literature review, we found that prior work mainly studied counterfactual explanations in high-risk domains such as finance and healthcare, but there's limited work in recommender systems that mediate everyday tasks and practice for average users. In addition, despite work in philosophy and social science literature that showed the usefulness of counterfactual explanations, there's little empirical work investigating users' needs for such explanations within the wild use contexts.
With this in mind, we asked the following research question that drives our paper. When do people need counterfactual explanations when interacting with recommended content in everyday intelligent applications? In pursuit of this question, we conducted a series of studies to find out more about both conventional and counterfactual explanations in everyday recommendations with the goal of identifying user needs for counterfactual explanations in those scenarios.
The semi-structured interview was driven by 4 sub-research questions. And here are the takeaways for the interview findings. First, we found that participants typically do not actively look for explanations all the time. However, this does not mean that explanations are not useful in everyday recommendations. In fact, we found that participants generally expressed a need for more relevant and detailed information to aid their decision-making. Lastly, the perceived utility associated with decision-making is a main factor affecting people's needs for why-not explanations.
Coming out of our interviews, we wanted to hone in on the last point there about explanations and perceived decision utility. This led to the following question we want to answer in a follow-up survey study. How does utility, both decision and experience utility associated with decision-making, affect users' needs for why-not explanations? To answer this, we conducted a within-subject survey study using 2 different scenarios to test and quantify potential correlation effects between decision-making utility and users' why-not explanation needs. The premise of both scenarios is typical usage of a point of interest application to find a restaurant. Both scenarios are set in a way such that their perceived decision utility would be different. What did our survey tell us? We saw that there is an overall significant and positive correlation between decision-making utility and why-not explanation needs. Additionally, we find it interesting how the utility perceived at the different stages of the decision-making process led to different needs for counterfactual explanations.
To wrap up, in this work, we elicited people's needs for counterfactual explanations when interacting with everyday recommended content with an empirical question-driven approach. Our findings have implications on future design of decision utility-aware, user-facing recommender systems. If you're interested in learning more, please refer to our full paper for more details. Thank you for listening.